On November 22, 1963, as the American President John F. Kennedy drove through downtown Dallas in his heavily guarded motorcade, he was assassinated under unusual circumstances. The president was killed in an assault at Dealey Plaza, even though there were Secret Service personnel there, a full police procession, and the FBI was keeping a close eye on the area for days. Chaos broke out as the Secret Service, FBI, CIA, and local police started their investigations within minutes of the killing. But even with all of their resources at their disposal, they were only able to apprehend Lee Oswald, one of the shooters, or maybe that was their sole goal. Was this a well-planned plot, or was the most well-known president of the United States really killed by a lone gunman who fooled the world's most powerful intelligence services from a mere few meters away? Many people were not persuaded by the official account. There was a quicker and more direct route to the dinner. So why was the motorcade driven through the center of the city? Who designed this route? Although the shooter claimed to have acted alone, was this only a coincidence or was there more to the story? It is noteworthy that Oswald was able to get employment at the Texas School Book Depository only 1 month before the killing by simply returning a call. However, how did a young lady who was seen at the murder scene while donning a scarf disappear into thin air? And what was her role in all of this? Greetings and welcome to another historic MTV video. It is September 2, 2024, and nearly 61 years ago, when his motorcade was passing through Dallas, President John F. Kennedy was slain. Millions of Americans were devastated by his death, but the many unanswered issues about the case remained unanswered by the investigations that followed. There are several grounds to think that the top intelligence services in the U.S. withheld a lot of information on the killing. One of these factors was the setting that Kennedy chose for his address in Dallas. Texas Governor John Connally pushed on the Trade Mart over the Women's Building, arguing that it was more appropriate for a dinner. On November 14, just 8 days before the killing, the Trade Mart location was finally decided upon, although this choice remained undisclosed. Presidential motorcades are often routed to avoid obstructions and tight curves. It is true that there existed a safe path that would have transported the president to the Trade Mart without going through the city. But it wasn't selected. Rather, the Texas School Book Depository, the site of the gunfire, was directly in front of the procession. The motorcade would have gone east if the Women's Building had been selected, making it more difficult for the shooter to aim. First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy, who sat to the president's left in every situation, would have protected him from the gunman's path of fire in this case. It seems that Governor Connally's choice of the Trade Mart was essential to the assassination scheme. Connally, however, cannot be held guilty of anything since he was also shot during the incident while riding in the limousine with his wife and managed to live. Connally had first objected to the selected path, arguing that a safer, outside approach would have been preferable to reach the Trade Mart. Who then was responsible for organizing these computations? The motorcade route was made public only 4 days before the killing, although there were indications that this information had been known for much longer. 2 months earlier, the Texas School Book Depository unexpectedly found itself short-staffed, and in September 1963, a man named Wesley Frazier received an offer to work there from an employment agency. Superintendent Roy truly recruited him right away the following day. Lee Oswald, Frazier's neighbor, phoned the superintendent on October 15, a month later, and was employed the same day. Oswald, who did not own a driver's license, lived in a room he leased in Dallas and traveled there on weekends with Frazier. But on November 21, the day before Oswald was assassinated, he announced that he would spend the weekend in Dallas. He claimed to have curtain rods for his room in a big paper bag he carried the next morning as he headed out to work with Frazier. Oswald and a few associates were on the 6th story of the book depository 30 minutes before the assassination. Oswald was left alone on the 6th floor when everyone else left for lunch on the 1st level at noon. A group of people had gathered outside to see the procession, and some workers were observing from the windows on the 5th level. The motorcade pulled up at precisely 12:30 p.m., with First Lady Jacqueline on her left and President Kennedy sitting on his right. In front were the governor and his spouse. The sound of shots reverberated across the neighborhood as the limousine turned left, close to the book depository. 3 gunfire were heard by some. The president took 2 bullets to the skull and 1 to the neck. President Kennedy had already passed away when the vehicle quickly drove off. However, it was probably too late. While some witnesses identified the gunman as black, others characterized him as white. Following a report of a guy shooting from the 6th story, a motorcade police officer hurried inside the building but discovered no one. In a matter of minutes, the whole facility was shut, but Lee Oswald, one employee, was absent. After leaving the scene, it seems that he went back to his rented room to change and get his weapon. Later, he was seen by a patrolling police, who he shot and murdered before taking cover in a local movie theater. Oswald was quickly located, apprehended, and brought to the police headquarters. Oswald was questioned by the police, FBI, and CIA for the following 2 days, but no recordings were made. On November 24, Oswald was shot and murdered in front of the media and law enforcement when he was being transported from police headquarters to a prison. Kennedy was brought to the same hospital where Oswald passed away. Although this is the official account, several witnesses maintain that Oswald was not the guy they saw on the 6th floor window. Oswald said, "I'm just a patsy," and protested his innocence many times before being shot. Examining this narrative presents a number of questions. Police said Oswald used extreme ingenuity to plan and carry out the assassination, but that he made a number of blunders later, including leaving the building and shooting a policeman, which only raised suspicions. Numerous investigation reports were released after Kennedy's killing, but they all served to further muddle the situation. Since an assassination plot could not have been carried out without insiders, the hypothesis that Oswald was murdered by the same persons who planned the assassination surfaced. Since Oswald was a former U.S. Marine and the FBI had been keeping an eye on him, many people think the FBI and CIA were involved. Nevertheless, as the motorcade route was being planned, they kept this knowledge from the Secret Service. Additionally, it is suspected that evidence was tampered with, including the 3 bullet casings discovered on the 6th level, which were taken out and swapped out for pictures, and the original police footage, which disappeared without explanation. One piece of evidence, however, was the appearance of an enigmatic lady who was seen carrying a camera and wearing a scarf in almost all of the shooting's pictures and recordings. It was thought that this lady, dubbed the Babushka Lady, was a part of the scheme, sent to document the event. However, the FBI never located her in spite of their best attempts. We appreciate you viewing Historic MTV. We really hope you found this movie entertaining, and we cordially ask that you like, share, and comment below. I'll see you in the thrilling new video.